All right. What's going on, guys? It is February 1st, 2023. 2023. Yeah, pretty sure it's still that year. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into the charts. I really haven't taken a look at much today, but yesterday we were on a slow grind to the upside. I'm going to get this inhaler real fast. So yesterday we were slowly grinding up, and honestly, to me, that made it pretty challenging in order to trade. It's one of those days where you almost wish that you would just bought off the low and just held it all day and just let it grind up. But it's pretty challenging when you're trying to day trade through it because that choppiness, a lot of times, even though you may be right on the trade, you may have to hold it through a lot of downside. And so hopefully that's not the case today. Let's go ahead and get our screen up. Blink. Alrighty, all true. Here we are. And today looks kind of choppy itself as well. So that's not good. If today is going to be choppy like it was yesterday, then I am going to be very slow at the way that I trade today intentionally. Because I'm not going to want to end up getting chopped up by the chop. Let's see. Here at 7 o'clock, we had a major drop down. And you can see how much of this drop down actually came back up and refilled. So we were up here at these highs at 40.89 at double top there. I'm actually going to throw a price level in. All right, so we got a price level up there. So this dropped all the way down to 40.78 and then refilled itself back up to 40.83. Still a major drop off the high, but what a crazy move that was. So we've been chopping around for a while. From 7:10 to about 7:11 or so, we got a red yellow move, which didn't have a ton of chop in it, had a reasonable amount of momentum. Here, resistance in the 26 simple. Currently, we're above the VWAP, kind of forming waveforms a bit. There's a lot of really large wicks today. And so I'm going to try and be cautious of that. We'll see if we can capitalize on it. But also that could indicate that a lot of like downward pressure or a lot of upward pressure just on whatever candle you happen to be trading. Like this one right here that was very, very solid and almost momentously green is getting this even huge wick and actually turning into a red candle with a $2 wick on it. That's a pretty large wick. So looks like 9's below the 12. Some other things are in bullish, some things are in bearish. Yeah, be careful out there today, kids, because it's a choppy one. I have to make sure we don't get chopped up again today. We did just get a 5,200 cross, maybe 10 minutes ago, right around 7:30. Check out some of the longer form charts, or longer term charts, excuse me. We're getting a red to yellow on the 3-minute chart. So this is looking decent for a potential bounce. The momentum is from 1.6 to 1.4, which is pretty reasonable on the 3-minute. When's our next 3-minute candle come up? At 42. It is just under a minute from now. So that'll give confirmation to that move. We're going to be focused on scalping again today based off this type of movement. We entered long at 82.50 in the paper account. And there's that chop right there, pulling back to 81 on this one candle. So very unpredictable movement when it becomes this choppy. We're waiting for 42 after. I took this long here because it was popping up, and there wasn't a lot of indication that it would drop down. Now we're pulling back to 4080. We're riding along the 200 simple in the VWAP. A lot of this choppiness exists because we have kind of low volume on the day. We're looking at like 1,400 to 2,000 contracts traded per minute. That's pretty low. We typically want to see more like 3,000 to 4,000. I'm going to cut this trade, and we're going to look at going more short. There seems to be more momentum to the downside, so I'm going to be probably focused on going short. That trade was a loss of 500 on the paper side, and we're not going to trade in our evaluation until we get a flow or some sort of momentum on the day that is a bit more tolerable and understandable. Going short here off VWAP. I'm expecting the VWAP to fail. But we've been trading all the way as low as the upper band, or as low as the lower band of the VWAP and as high as the upper band of the VWAP today. So all over the board. Technically, the S&P is down about 0.3. Okay, so we made 250 back off that short, and this is definitely looking more short than long. I'm going to jump to my evaluation side, and we're in the 100K eval right now. I'm going to try and go short off of like 77.5, maybe 77.75 or so. I'm going to try for 77.5, see if we can go short. Nope, it's just continuing to drop. Should have just shorted the market, just at market. Getting a pretty big drop down here. We're dropping damn near all the way down to the bottom of the lower band of the VWAP. What's up, Tiny? Great to see you here. Don't want the chop. Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's like Chop City, yo. Chop City, yo. Up in this mug. All right. We pull back practically all the way to the lower band. There's a lot more momentum to the downside, but there's actually momentum. That's what matters. Up, down, all around doesn't really matter. What matters is that there is a direction. 0.8 to 1.6 on the red side on the TTM1. I tried to take that short in the evaluation side as it was dropping, and frankly, I don't think I was aggressive enough on it. Let's see, on the TCM3, we went from 1.6 to 2.8 to 3.2. Our next candle is going to be at 48, which is in a minute and a half. I think that we may end up pulling all the way to the lower band, which is that down at 73. As such, I'm actually going to go short here. We're in short 76.50, and I'm looking for a move down to 75. We got 1 minute left in this 3-minute candle. I'm going to check in on the 5-minute chart. 5 minutes is also building red on the TTM. All right, we got that trade. That was another. What was that? We were down 250. Now we're up 100. $400. Yeah. No, 350. So we made 350 on that trade. Not bad. We got this. By the way, the not bad there, that was this like story of my son and I. We'd hiked down to this waterfall, and you were like weren't supposed to go down all the way to the shore of the waterfall, but there was like a lot of people there anyway, so we did it anyway. And we my wife and I were staring up at the waterfall like that is one big dang waterfall. I love how we sound like that in this story. and we turned him and looked over, and our son, who was like 2 at the time, had his face in the water, like just in the stream of water that was like that was coming like at the bottom of the waterfall, and we were like got all scared, and we were like, oh no, and like ran towards him, and he just looks up, and he was drinking the water, and he's like, not bad. And it just kind of stuck with me for my entire life, and I love that. See, red 2.2 to red 3.0 to red 3.5 on the TTM1. This is looking like we may get a red to yellow move for a potential move back up towards the VWAP. Likely a fail towards the VWAP, but still a potential for an upward move. You can see that flag forming, that upside down flag forming there. 3.0 to 3.5 to 3.8 or so on the TTM. Still moving towards the downside. Possible bounces off of 75. Bounces. Possible bounces. 3.4 to 4.2. Now we're dropping all the way down below the VWAP bound. Tiny, I love your comment. Thank you for being here. I'm always glad to be here. I'll be right back. I need more coffee. Apologies for not being in 1080 today. 1080p. We had to rock down to 720 for the day. It is what it is. A lot of volume on these last two candles. A lot of sell-off happening here. I'm in short off 70 3/4. All right, we made 200 on that one. Still continuing to drop. We are below the VWAP band. We are making new lows on the day as well.
Order filled.
We're short in our evaluation. We're looking for a move down to 67. We're on the 100K account right now. Ooh, nope. Looks like a lot of those shorts are starting to fill. I may have to cut this trade. 4 seconds left in this candle. 1 second. Yeah, I'm gonna hold it. We're gonna hold.
Order filled.
Glad I held and didn't cut that because it was looking sketchy there for a second. So we did just take a 2-tick trade on that. Small 2 contract 2 ticks, but I'm just trying to build up a little bit of a cushion on the day. So we made about $41 on that on the eval side. On the 100K account, there's a lot of downward pressure right now. We get like some bad reports or something. We'll take a look at the economic calendar. Today, Wednesday, Feb 1. We do have a reasonable amount of reports. We've got at 5:15 this morning, we had the ADP employment report. Wait, are you for real? So the forecast was, hang on, I gotta see if this is a good report or a bad report, but it's a pretty wide variant. So job growth slowing down. Let's see. ADP, the number of private payrolls rose by 106,000 in January, according to the payroll services from ADP. This is a significant drop from the revised 253,000 jobs added in December. So basically, we did still add jobs, but significantly less than what they were expecting. They were expecting 190,000 jobs. They only added 106,000. The adding of jobs is, in some ways, it's kind of a silly metric, but also it does have some value in its reflection. I say it's a silly metric because we don't know what level or quality of jobs they're adding. So there's not enough in that data point. It's just that we're adding jobs or subtracting jobs. But if you're adding a bunch of jobs in the sector of like minimum wage, then it's not going to do a whole heck of a lot for the economy. If you're adding more jobs in the upper scale, and like the close to 6-figure type jobs, then it will do a lot. So it's one of those things. It's kind of like, take it with a grain of salt, but it does move the market, and that's what matters. 645, we had the S&P manufacturing PMI. At 7, we had the ISM manufacturing index. 7, we also had the job openings, which was forecasted at 10.3 million, and the actual was 11 million. So I mean, we have 11 million job openings right now. U.S. job openings climbed to 11 million at the end of 2022. Labor market is too strong for the Fed. There are 11 million requests for people to fulfill jobs. Quits, we had 4.1 million quits, which is consistent with last month. Pending construction is down 0.4%. All this was as of 7 a.m. We have the federal funds rate. This one is actually going to really move markets. The previous federal funds rate hike, there you go, I got it out, was 4.25 to 4.5. That is crazy for the Fed rate to be at 4.5. I didn't live I did live through the 80s, but I was a child. And I know that everyone talks about the interest rates were crazy back then. And I can see that they're not as bad as they had gotten to in the 80s, but at the same time, like, we're well on our way. I know that as far as the funds rate goes, They were talking about raising it another quarter of a point. So that would put us up to 4.75 from 4.5. And that'll certainly slow um, lending. That'll slow lending on houses and cars and everything else. As lending slows, so does the circulation of money. We also have a news conference from Jerome Powell today at 11:30 Pacific, 2:30 market time. And so being as that's the case, probably going to see a lot of choppiness throughout the day, especially up until when J Powell talks. When J Powell stocks, that'd be great. Um, All right, let's jump back into the chart. Okay, so we do have a red yellow move going on here. Went from 8.0 to 8.0, so no move there, to 7.8, so a very micro move there. Volume picked up a little bit. Volume's kind of hanging in the 3K mark. A lot of times on these choppy days, just like we had yesterday, and then like what we're having today, you'll see these really like a bunch of tiny candles that are just chopping all out at like 1,500 to 2,000 volume. Then you'll see like 8,000, volume all of a sudden happen all at once. And that's what we just had here when it dropped to the downside. That creates that momentum for that moment. So this red yellow move looks like it's probably going to fail because we went from 8.0 to 7.8 to 7.5. It's looking a little better now because it was, when I said that, it was at 7.8 itself. So from 7.8 to 7.8, that's not a move. That's a sideways action. And I ain't about that action. No. At least not that action. Not that sideways action. Drop down to 40.65-ish. Switching back from yellow to red on the TT1. We're just about to hit the top of the hour, about 20 seconds out till 8. Seconds to 8 o'clock. Just a little bit of that Iron Maiden for y'all to know. $7.8 to 7.6 to 7.6 to 7.3. So we're getting a micro amount of stacking on the TCM. It's still not enough to trust. Like it's got to be moving at more like 0.4 to 0.5 in that momentum on that candle in order to trust it. Just don't feel like a bona fide move. Riding along 66. Cruising in the charts in this 6-7. All right. All right, this looks a little bit better. I'm going to join the bid here for a long. I'm looking for a long up to 69. We're in a 67.50. From 7.1 to 6.8, that's a 0.3 move. I might regret this trade. I already do. Was a lot of sell off on that TTM build. Pulling back up. Now buyers beginning to step in. 7.1 to 6.8 still. We've got 2 seconds left in this candle. And we got a doji at the bottom. This has a lot of signs for moving upward. That ended 6.7. Now we're going to 6.0. That's a lot of TTM stacking up. And yet, with that much stack up on the TTM, we're still not popping upward, which is weird. But there's a lot of volume that's pushing this downward. That's pretty incredible. To go from 6.7 to 6.0 and still drop, that's weird. Yo, that's weird. I'm just gonna say it. New candle now. Still stacking on TTM. 6.7 to 6.2 to 5.7.
Order filled.
Just took a quick trade in the evaluation. That gave us another 40 some odd bucks. We're up 81 on the day. We also got that trade in the paper side. Now we're up 400 on the paper side. That's why I'm like, yo, like this drop can't continue to happen. Not with the TTM stacking up. That means people are accumulating buy contracts. So if they're buying and it's still dropping down, something's kind of wonky on that, but nonetheless, it can't hold forever. Eventually those buys are going to show up and that price is going to go up. When that buys show up and the price goes up, I don't know. When the buys go up and the price go when the buys go up, the price go I don't know. When the buys show up, then the price goes up. When your money flow up, I don't know. Somebody fill in the next lyric. Let's make a rap song and trade at the same time. This is raponomics right here. 6.2 to 5.5 to 4.7. Not to be confused with Reaganomics. This is raponomics. Hip-hoponomics. Hip-hop-anomalous. Like a hippopotamus. 4.7 to 3.9. Still stacking on the upside on the TTM. We get a possible crossover the 1226. We gotta wait for that 9 to get above the 12. Once that 9 EMA gets above the 12 EMA, then we do have an opportunity for a little bit of an upward move. 35 is also crossing above the 26, so that does look really good for a potential breakout on the upside. I'm gonna join the bid here in the
order
eval,
filled.
Off on 40.70. Looking for a move of 40.70 and a half. Just taking scalps.
Order filled.
Those small trades. Got that trade up 122.52 or so in the eval. And if we had only made 46 more cents, then we would be up 666 in our eval. We're just 46 cents off from that. Do you have a little bit of even more popping up here? More potential on this crossover. Getting real close. Potentially a cyan switch. We got that dip, then that rip, and then we may run into that cyan switch, that dip, rip, cyan switch. Popping up to like 40.71. I'm gonna switch this over to like 12 ticks, and then I'm gonna try and get in off like 70.75. We'll see what happens. I need this to drop like 50 cents. There we go. We got in a 70.75. It's like a weird number to say. We got a doji at the top. 9 is still below the 12. This could still fail. A lot of TTM backing it up though. It's looking stronger for the upside instead of the downside though. Still potential on the fails just because the 9 is below that 12, so we don't have that confirmation yet, right? And we need that confirmation that this is already great. Pulling back to 69. $2.6 to 1.9 on the TTM. TTM on the one side. We got 15 seconds left in this candle. I'm going to pull out to the 3-minute chart. Hopefully this does pan out because I don't really want to lose all my gains on the day on the paper side. 7.4 to 8.0. So this is still trailing to the downside on the 3-minute chart. We'll have a new 3-minute candle here in just under a minute. And it's that 3-minute candle that I really care about because that's going to actually really determine the momentum of this move. And this is exactly what I was worried about. Without that 9, this is why I didn't take this in the evaluation side, even though I was considering it, was that 9 never got above that 12. And so this cyan switch may end up not happening. Our entry was off 70.75. I'm going to drop this down to 71, which would just be a 1-tick move if it does pan out. We're going from 2.6 to 1.9 to 1.2 on the TTM. So we do have still opportunity for this to work out, basically because of that TTM stack. Now moving to 0.6, getting closer to 1226 crossover, but notice that the indicator is not firing. That says possible crossover. On this new 3-minute candle, we went from 7.45 to 8.09 to 8.28. So this candle does have the potential to switch from a red to a yellow on the 3-minute side. We get that red to yellow on the 3-minute side. It holds with it a lot more value and validity than a red to yellow on the 1-minute side. Hovering around 40.69. We're still slightly green on the day. I need that 9 to get above that 12. In order for that 9 to get, or when that 9 gets above that 12, it's going to really confirm this move. We got another possible crossover inbound. So this is looking better. We did get a cyan switch there momentarily. This is looking decent. Pulling back off of that. This is like the emotional roller coaster that you love and hate. $809, $810. Let's see. 0.38 to 0.4. So that is a move about 0.8 on the total. On switching from negative to positive. On the numbers there on the TTM. We have 10 seconds left in this candle. This crossover is so close and yet so far. It likely will happen. I feel pretty confident that it will. 9 is now crossing above the 12 on this candle, on the current candle. 0.4 to 1.0 on the TTM. I'm going to switch this over to like 4 ticks on the eval side. I may take an entry out for 40.70. I'm not sure. This has some potential to fail, but it's very minimal. I think I might just take the risk.
Order filled.
Entered off 70.25 on the eval side. I'm looking for a move up to that EMA 35, which would be 71.75. We would be out before then. I'm looking to get out at 71.25.
Order
There
filled.
we go. We got that. That's 4 ticks in the 100K eval. That puts 213.36 back in our pocket. That means that we basically made all our money back that we lost yesterday. So that's awesome. That puts us up 756, and I can't tell if that's 38 or 83. 38. So 756, 38 out of 2,000. And we did just get a 1226 crossover. So we are getting a bounce off these lows. We have a possible 5,200 crossover inbound, although that is really far out. I'm actually going to edit that study because I told y'all yesterday that it was kind of firing a little preemptively, or just not firing in the right way. So let's see. Let's jump to possible cross 5,200, and I'm going to back this off to about 35. We'll apply that. Okay, now time to reassess and reevaluate. So we did get some nice trades through that red to yellow switch into that cyan move. Cyan 9 is above 12. We did get a 1226 crossover, and we are bouncing off the lower band of the VWAP, and we do have a cyan switch. So this is looking decent. Watch out for resistance along the EMA 35, which is right there at 71.5. So I'm going to reduce down to 4 ticks. Join the bid here. I wanted to join the bid off of 70.5. Instead, we're in at 71. And I think it's just too high, so I'm just going to try and get out of a single tick. That wasn't where I wanted to enter. I wanted to enter at 70.5. We got in at 71, so I'm just going to try and pull $50 out of it. The reason is because I do think this will come up and hit resistance here at 71.5. And so if we're in at 71 and 71.5 is that resistance zone. Okay, so we did get that. It is popping up. 71.5 potentially being the resistance. Breaking on through it. Breaking on through to the 72 side. Pulling back to the EMA 35 and making some nice bounces up here. And now putting resistance at 73 off the EMA 50. I'm going to join the bid on that, even though that does have a lot of sell orders there. Answering a 71 long. Looking for a move up to 72. 1.7 to 2.3 on the TTM. It's a lot of sell orders on that last candle. Like, it's a pretty big wick there. We did get that trade on the side, so we're up 850 in the paper, and we're up 122 in the 100K eval. And I thought about I considered taking this trade here, the one that just ripped up, but I was a little hesitant, and not trying to take things that I hesitate on. Because if I hesitate, then there's a high likelihood that I'm going to enter incorrectly and exit, improperly and have to stress out the whole time. Rejection up there off the EMA 50, pulling down to the EMA 35 or near it, very close to it. It does look like the 35 is beginning to curl upward. 9 is above the 12, and we're getting good divergence off the 26. So this does look really good for a nice pop-up. Making a pullback to like 71. So an entry off of 71 looks really nice. I don't know if I can get down that low though. Switching over to ATIX. Jumping in off 72. I'm looking for a move up to 74, which would mean a move through the EMA 30 or the EMA 50. Tried to join the bid there in the evaluation, but didn't work out. Um, it just didn't fill me. It's a pullback off that 50. I consider joining the bid there too. It's funny, but I don't know. My intuition says it's going to break upward, and yet I feel hesitant to take the buy in the eval side. So I don't know why I feel that hesitancy, but whatever it is, I'm also going to pull this off too. We're up $1,000 on the paper side. We're up we're up 214 or so, close to 214 in the 100K eval. So we're doing decent today. What's up, Pon? The way I read them comments, though. By the way, if y'all chilling, y'all hanging out, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. It really does help the community grow. You would be surprised at actually how much it helps that community grow. But for everything that you like, YouTube brings this up to 3 more people, which is amazing and awesome. And I love it and appreciate it. And I love it and appreciate it when you guys hit that like button. It's awesome. It's absolutely tremendous. I just love saying that. You know, love or hate Trump. I don't really care how you feel about it. But what I do care is how amazing it is to say tremendous like that. I can totally appreciate that. Also, guys, too, if you would like to earn funding in the futures market, y'all, make sure you check out Elite Trader Funding. This is what I'm using right now in order to earn funding in the futures market. I also have an Apex account that I'm also working on figuring out Ninja Trader, which is its own software beast for me. But these guys here, Elite Trader Funding, one thing I really like about these guys is they give me the ability to choose between a lot of different software, and they provide the license keys for that, which I did not know, but that is worth thousands of dollars, and that's pretty amazing of them. You can earn funding as low as $10,000, funding all the way up to $300,000. So you literally could trade with the equity of an entire house. It's absolutely amazing, and personally, I think that. So I'm working on the 50K eval, which allows me 8 contracts to the mini and a $3,000 profit target. Personally, I think getting access to $50,000 for even the base price here at 165. Of course, you guys wouldn't be paying that because you do get the link in the description and the promo code, so you get a lifetime discount. But even at the 165, getting access to $50,000 for that amount of money is just ridiculously inexpensive. It's kind of one of those, like, as a lot of people say in marketing, it's a no-brainer. But I really hate that phrase. But it's certainly a one of those type of deals where it's just like, of course, yeah. I'm also working on the 100K static eval, which allows me 2 contracts to mini and $2,000 profit target. That's the one we've been trading in today, and we've been doing quite well with this one. So we're close to halfway earning on our funding here. They did also recently in January add this 150K static, which is pretty cool because it does allow 4 contracts to the mini. You can certainly move pretty quickly taking 4 contracts. So make sure you guys choose. You click the see more details link so that you can understand fully what it takes to actually earn funding in the futures market and to earn funding when working with Elite Trader Funding. So they're pretty rock solid company though. If he moves, step down to like 3 or 4 micros, save the ES for those super high probability trades, where you just don't know the direction it's going. Yeah, I can see that. That's definitely a way to, like, definitely very much reduce your risk and manage your risk. I think it's actually a pretty smart way to manage your risk. This is ripping up. This was the rip that we were expecting that would happen along that 50 there. Ripping up to 76. Watch out for a pullback. There we are, getting a pullback down. Not much. Really only pulled back to 76. High, this is almost 77. I'm going to switch to the 50K, which we still have a lot of rebuilding to do here. Join the bid off 77. I'm looking for a move up to 78.
Order filled.
We got that. So our 50K account, we just brought that back up to 399 for our trailing max. And we made 90 bucks in that. Popping back up through the volume weighted average price. We're just going to check our indicators here. We have this possible 5200 inbound, which is a little bit of a ways out, but it's still working on it. 9 is very much above the 12. Great divergence there. Great divergence from the 12 to the 35. 35 is above the 26. Looking real solid for upward momentum. Switching over to the 3-minute chart, which is getting a possible crossover to the 1226. 3-minute also did get that red yellow that we were tracking earlier, but now it's really playing out. 6.4 to 5.4 to 3.9 on the TTM. Pulling back to 77. I'm going to switch over to the 5-minute chart and see if we've gone yellow yet. We are going yellow right now, actually, on this current 5-minute candle. When we should have a brand new 5-minute candle here in about just over a minute. But this went from 8.0 to 7.1. I think at 8:25 we'll get a nice red or a nice yellow candle as well on the 5-minute chart, which is just about 1 minute away. I'm going to switch back to the 1-minute chart and look for a trade opportunity here. You get some pullback to the VWAP. We may be kind of chopping up and down through the middle area of the VWAP here. TTM looking like 4.6 to 5.0 to 5.2. So we do have some leveling off on that TTM. When we see that leveling off happening on that TTM, we need to be very cautious about going long if that leveling off is happening on the upside, that is. We need to be cautious about going long here because we may actually continue to level off, then fall down. Vice versa, if we get leveling off on the downside, then that gives us a lot of opportunity to go long for the bounce. Up here, we may have opportunity to actually go short. And you can see it's pulling back now to 77. Our high there was 78, almost 79, 78 3/4. Pulling back to 77 is maybe a decent move to go short off the VWAP, although it does look a little too strong for me to want to go short here. There does seem to be a little too much momentum to the upside. This last candle was like all sells, and we're still popping up. So 2,500 contracts on that one. And we're getting 2,000 contracts so far on this current candle. Oh, that means 825. So let's jump in and check in with our good pal, the 5-minute chart. So we went from 8.0 to 7.3 to 6.0. That is great momentum buildup on the 5-minute chart. This does look like we have the opportunity to take a much larger swing. I'm going to join the bid here. We'll join the bid off 78.5, and I'm looking for a move like up towards 80, 82. So we have resistance right there at about 82. You know, I recognize actually that I took that trade based off the 5-minute chart. But I also recognize that it's going to be a minute before that happens. Actually, a little while more than a minute, but I recognize that it's going to be a period of time before this breakout actually happens. So I think I'm preemptive in taking this trade, and as such, I'm going to get out potentially with a little bit of profit if I can, which we did. Made $50 on it. Looks like I could have made more. I guess I wasn't that preemptive with it. We did bring our trailing max back up to 399. We didn't trade in our 50K at all yesterday because basically it was just too choppy for us. So I'm going to throw this strat up here that Palm was talking about. It's less of a trading strategy and more of a risk management strategy, which I really like. Basically, what Pawn is saying here is that he's taking the micros over the minis. So when it's choppy like this, if he's taking the micros, then he's putting a lot less of his account at risk when it's really choppy days. And then when the moves are very obvious, then he's jumping over the ES, the mini, where he can take the same exact trades, but they're worth significantly more money. So that's essentially what he's saying. And by doing that, that allows him to also build up a small cushion in his account, or it could be a large cushion, but a cushion in his account, trading micros while putting very little at risk. It's a pretty good risk management strategy, honestly. Jumping back to the eval side, I'm going to switch over to paper. Getting some resistance along that 200 and that VWAP there. Because of the 3 and the 5 minute candle, I don't think that this is going to fail here. I do think that it will pop up, but I do think that this will continue to chop out for a while, and it may even pull back some. Sometimes there's a lot of value and validity to shorting off of the VWAP. I know a lot of people that do it, but with the other metrics projecting a longer term breakout, I'm a bit skeptical, I guess, if you will, in order to go short, because I think it will potentially maintain along this area, and if it does pull back, we might pull back to like 75, which isn't, I mean, that would be 12 ticks, but it's also not like significant in regards to the overall movement. From 5.0 to 4.8 to 4.7 on the TTM, we're getting some downward momentum potentially inbound. We got that doji up here on this flag, and we're just riding along this. It's currently going sideways. When this breaks out, it's going to break out really fast, likely in the upward direction. I could be wrong. I definitely do not ever claim to be an expert. So the pullback area I mentioned would be like all the way down to as low as about 75. Then we'd likely find support off that and continue to bounce. Right now we're pulling back to 77.5. $4.8 to 4.6 on the TTM. So the decline is so minimal, it's almost non-existent. We're up 1,050 on the day in paper. We're up $91 in our 50K account, and we're up 122 or actually, I keep saying 122. We're up 200 and almost 14 in our 100K account. There we go. This is looking like the potential breakout. Potential breakout inbound. Tried to get in there at 78.25, didn't fill me. There's another opportunity to get filled. We're long at 78.25. I've got a 12 tick move up here up to 81 and a half. I'm going to reduce this to 79.75 just in case we run into resistance at 80. I don't think we're gonna. Honestly, it's looking pretty nice, pretty strong. So pretty much touched our sell order. I'm gonna pull that profit. Made actually I only had making a 200 on that one. We made 200 on that one, up 12.50 on the day in paper. I'm making a pullback to the 9 EMA on this candle, but I don't think this pullback's gonna last. Well. Yep. Popping up through 79 slightly, up at 79 and a half. So just remember about a half an hour ago, we were down at 69. So we came up roughly 10 bucks. Looks like our original trade idea would have worked out if we would have just left it. We are breaking through 80. We'll have to see if we break on through to the other side of 80. I'm not a Doors fan, you are. We got a doji at the top. We got a doji at the top there. And we're getting some pullback off of that. I'm going to check in on the 3-minute chart. 3-minute has a possible crossover with the 5,200 inbound. It's actually pretty close. That would be a really solid bullish move. We did get a science switch on the 3-minute chart from 1.1 to 2.9. It's looking really strong for upward moves. Getting some stall out here on 80. Hitting resistance. I'm drop down to 80 and a quarter for my sell order, which would just be 2 ticks. But we're kind of like, I don't know, running into more resistance than I thought that we would here. I might actually cut it and take like a $50 loss just because it's really here for like a very long time. Tap my sell order. I can't believe the top of my sell order didn't sell. I'm out. Maybe if the chart thing will let me out. The software's there. We go. Finally let me out. Lost $100 on that one, but I'm glad that we got out because I can see it dropping. Pulling back to the 9 EMA. We're definitely in bullish form here, though. So it became a lot less choppy, a lot more momentous, and a lot easier to predict the moves that are actually coming in. So it's absolutely momentous instead of choppy. How y'all doing today? You red, you green, purple? Inquiring minds want to know. How you guys doing in this fun market? Yesterday was just like that slow grind choppiness. Like would have been one of those amazing days to just buy low, sell high kind of thing. Like just buy at the bottom and just wait. By the way, if y'all chilling, y'all hanging out, make sure you like, subscribe, ring license, and make sure you join in our Discord community, because our Discord community is the one and only place on the internet that you will have access to our amazing family of optimistic futures people. Because our optimistic future people are the people that look at the lens of life and reality through an optimistic lens. That doesn't mean that they're not being realistic. It's just a perspective on their spin on what realism actually is. One of the things I hear a lot of times for the argument for pessimism is that I'm not a pessimist, I'm a realist. Well, what is real is just whatever the reality is that we all live in. So if your reality is optimistic and whatnot, then rock on. If your reality is pessimistic and your outlook on everything is that it won't work out, and that's what's real to you, then rock on, do your thing. But right here we focus on that optimism, because I like to look at the future and think that my future is so bright that I gotta wear shades. Right on. This is cool. By the way, guys, if y'all chilling, y'all hanging out, and you would like to earn funding in the futures market, make sure you check out a link trader funding. You can do one-step evaluations. You can do fast-track evaluations. With fast-track evaluations, please make sure that you have a really rock-solid strategy, though, because they do have a time limit on them. But they are incredibly inexpensive. So these ones are pretty cool in that regard. There's also the traditional style, the end of the day drawdown evaluations. There's the static drawdown evaluations, which I personally really like because they're super easy to understand. Basically, if you lose more than $625 on the 100K, you out. But anything above that, you win. So not you win, you are in, as in you're still in. But yeah, make sure you check out the see more details link next to each one of these. Use the link in the description, though. It's super important, because when you do, you'll actually have the ability to enter a promo code in there, JSBEST, so that you can lock in a lifetime discount. Let's go ahead and jump back into the chart and see what's going on. We kind of chopped out here for a little bit. We're getting some bounce off the 9 EMA, coming up to 79, coming up to 80. Right in this range here, chilling. We're going for 2.8 to 2.4 to 2.1 on the TTM. So we're coming up, we're testing 80, but we're testing 80 with some of the momentum dropping. So on that TTM, that momentum is declining, even though we're coming up and testing 80, which gives me less hope for the upward side. And we may chop out down here for a bit before we finally get a real bounce. But we may actually need to see some pullback, and maybe even pulling back to like below the VWAP down to like 75, and some consolidation before we actually see this shoot up. As far as upward move goes, we have availability all the way up to 90, at least on the day, because you can see we double top there at around 90. Upper band of the VWAP is up there at 87. So there is definitely a possibility of adding another $8 or $9 to the price of this. The ES is also down on the day about 1/4 of a point. Coming up and testing that 80 again. You can see how much resistance is showing up here. Because you can see we hit 1, 2, 3, and then we are ripping through it now 4 times before this ripped up. This ripped up to 81 exactly, and now it's pulling back down to 80. Now I just want to see a cyan candle popping in on the TTM. All right, TL True, pulling back down to the 79s yet again. Started to get a little choppy here. Excuse me. A lot of that momentum kind of stalled out. Now we're just kind of going sideways for a bit. You used to say that you're positive that it won't work. Well, I mean, how did that work out for you? Did it did it positively not work? I was just curious. One thing I found in my life throughout my reality is that like what you focus on expands. So if you focus on it not working, expect it to not work. You focus on it, do working, expect it to work. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to experience hardship or challenge along the way. Personally, I think that the difference between pessimism and optimism really just has a lot to do with how we see the potential end result and whether or not we give up along the way. A little sometimes good, sometimes bad. Um, I think that I think one of the things that I find really compelling when I meet optimists, because I did spend a good chunk of my life being around people who are just like incredibly optimistic. And I really love that time in my life. And one of the things I noticed about them is that it didn't matter if they were struggling or surviving; they were still going to persevere. And that's a little bit of Lupe your way. But the reality of it was is that like it didn't matter what challenge they faced because they had that attitude that they were like, whatever it is, I'm just gonna overcome it. I'm just gonna learn. I'm gonna do whatever, like get the skill necessary. I think that is one thing that I find really fascinating about optimism is that it's just like it's almost like matter of fact that like I'm gonna win out at the end eventually. Like if you keep trying, you keep learning, and you keep practicing, like eventually you're gonna get there. Like it almost seems like an eventuality, but everybody knows that when you give up on something that it will stop working. Everybody knows that. And I think anybody can agree with that, regardless of whether or not they're an optimist or pessimist. That's not to say that you should never give up on anything. We give up on trades all the time. We give up on bad trades. If you don't give up on a bad trade, expect to lose a lot of money. um, but it's strategic quitting, and I think it's incredibly important um, to know when to hold them and when to fold them, as the song says. Y'all don't know that, like, when you come to my stream, you're actually just getting like all these like little bits of wisdom from music for the last like 100 years, from all genres. You get some country music wisdom, you get some hip hop wisdom, you get some heavy metal wisdom, all that jazz. We are pulling back down to the VWAP. Like I said, I thought that we needed some more consolidation before we actually get this breakout. This breakout is still moving towards the upside, but I did think that we needed this consolidation and this pullback to the VWAP in order to get this potential for this move. You can see that the 50 is approaching the 200 moving average on the 1 minute side, and I believe it's approaching it on the other the longer time frames as well. We're pulling back to 78.50. I'm going to join the bid here and just try and take a long. I don't want to go for 12 ticks though. I want to go for like 4, and I'm going to reduce this down to 4 ticks as well. So we're in 78.50. We're looking for a bounce up to like 79.50, which it's I think it's a little even aggressive. I'm going to just go to 79. So looking for a 2 tick move. All right, we got that double tick. We're back up at 12.50, which is our peak of the day. I'm going to switch over to the longer time frame and just sort of see what's going on here. 3-minute chart has, turn on active trader. 3-minute chart has a potential 5,200 crossover inbound, just like the 1-minute chart. The 3-minute chart has been stacking at 5.8 to 6.7. to 7.3 even on this pullback here. So that does tell me that even though we're consolidating, we are accumulating towards the upside, accumulating more buys. And here we are at 8:45. This crossover is looking like it may happen around 9 if it goes down. So if the crossover goes down, then you better be ready. A little bit of Cypress Hill your way. Let's see, 2.2 to 1.0 to 0.3 on the 5-minute side. So 5 minutes looking like a cyan switch inbound. 9's above the 12. We have not gotten a 1226 crossover on the 5-minute side yet. And the 50-200 is also looking like it's about 3 or 4 candles away here. So watch out for 9 o'clock. So the top of the hour. Let's see what goes down there, because this really looks like it is accumulating towards an upside rip. The question really is when, I think. Obviously, there's a little bit of an if factor, but I don't think that if is very big if. I think that there's a higher probability of an upward move. Entered long off 77 3/4, and I am looking for a move up towards 81, which is a very big move. You can see the TTM is switching over to the red side, but I'm playing off the longer term chart here. So we may get some more consolidation, maybe even an ABCD pattern here on the 1 minute side, but I am playing towards a longer term trade here. Sort of with an anticipation of a trade about 15 minutes out potentially. I really would like to get better at that, so I'm going to get better at that. Right now, 9 is below the 12, and we got a 26 crossover on the downside. But you can see, even with that crossover, we're still, like that downward cross and the red on the TTM, we're still stacking up. Like the chart's still going up. We're about to have a new 5-minute candle here in just a moment. 5-minute candle, just a moment. 1.0 to 0.4. Was that from Office Space? Where she just kept saying, just a moment. Just over and over and over again. Somebody let me know in the comments. Let's see. 0.4 to 0.5 on the TTM5. So we did get a cyan switch there. Pulling back to 76.5. We're in a 77.5, so we are down $200 in this trade. We're still up 1,100 on the day, so we good. We'll watch that closely. But here we are at 850. We did get the cyan switch, but it's minimal, and we should have seen a little bit more momentum on this. 50 still approaching the 200. We're also approaching a 1226 crossover on the 5-minute side. 3 minutes still approaching the 5200 cross. 3 minutes leveling off on the TTM from 7.4 to 7.4. So that's not good in terms of the momentum move. But I don't think that'll last. Maybe I will think it'll last because we're going from 7.4 to 6.8. I don't know if I want to stick with this trade. Especially because we're getting pulled back now to like 75. Switching over to the 1 minute chart. We're at a risk level now on this trade. I try not to ever lose more than $500 if I can. And that's typically only after I've built up a cushion. I'm going to go ahead and cut this trade right here. Loss of 400 on that one. So we're still up 850 on the day. I cut this trade even though I think this is going to bounce, even though I think this is going to go long toward the upside. I cut this basically for the short term. I don't want to deal with the short-term pain of this dropping down to 75 or 72 before it finally rips back up to 80 or 82 or something like that. I don't want to deal with the short-term pain for the long-term gain, so to speak. Instead, I want this chart pattern to pan out on the 1 minute side. Even though I see it panning out on the 5 minute, I want to see it pan out on the 1 and the 3 before I really go heavy in this. But I do think that there is a momentum move on the way. It's just not here yet. It's all good. All good, baby, baby. We're coming up on 9 a.m. How y'all doing? You red? You green? You purple? You any other color of the rainbow today? Maybe you're not a color, but instead you're a shade, like gray or something like that. I just consider all that colors. I think it's just easier. 1.5 to 1.8 to 2.1, 2.2. So I think it's a short-term sell-off. I do think that we'll have another run up the TTM, or up the TTM. Another run up towards the VWAP near the top of the hour. I think we just need to wait for it. We're down to 40.75 off of 81. So we're down like $6 from the high. I don't want to say the high, but the recent high. If I say the high, somebody's gonna be like, actually, the high of the day is. And I'm like, nah, I just mean the recent high, the high that's like in the last half hour. All right. Let's see, 1.8 to 2.1 to 2.4 on the TTM red. On the red side of the TTM 1, I should say. A little bit more easy to understand. All right, get some leveling off there on the chart. 2.4 to 2.6 on the TTM. I'm going to want to see a red-yellow on the TTM, and then that would signal our potential breakout here up at the top of the hour that I'm expecting. I'm expecting that not necessarily right at 9, though, but maybe like 9:03. Although this is a pretty heavy pullback, and if this pullback gets too heavy, then then I don't believe that breakout will happen. It just depends on whether or not this holds like 75 area. Reason why it matters and the reason why it has validity has a lot to do with this 50 moving average and this 200 moving average. You can see that 200 is dropping below the VWAP, which we have a theory that if it's above the VWAP, then we're typically in bearish, and if it's below the VWAP, we're typically moving into bullish. It's just a theory. It is not proven. I want that to be clear. It is not proven. It's just simply something I've noticed and watched, and I don't know if it's real or not. But we are pulling back to like 72. So this is a pretty heavy pullback. And this level of pullback could prevent us from actually having the breakout of the 5,200 cross. The lower band of the VWAP is down here at 69. So we do have room down to 69. We're currently at 72. So basically, a lot of these gains went away. And the ES is now moving into almost being red half a point on the day. 3.3 to 3.8 on the TTM on the red side. So I'm looking for this to go to a red-yellow move. You see this last red candle actually ended up with a lot of buyers on it. Now this current candles ended up with a lot of sellers. So it was like 70-30 buys. $3.3 to 3.6. I love this Bulls Bears one. I actually kind of like. So this was an indicator, by the way, that I found on. Oh man, I want to say I found it on usethinkscript.com. I'm not affiliated with those guys, but I do find a lot of useful information there for TOS. So I don't know them. I don't know anything about them. I don't know their ethics, their morals, none of those things. I just know that I find useful information on their forum a lot of the time, and a lot of free indicators, which is really cool. 3.7 to 3.7. We're getting a red to yellow move now. Let's reduce this to 6.6. Join the bid here. Join the bid off of 74.75. We may have resistance at 75. I'm gonna check the number here. 3.7 to 3.6. New one coming in at 3.4, which has a pullback on it, pulling back down to 74. 3.6 to 3.5. Our entry is at 74.75, and now it's pulling back to 72.75. So that red to yellow ended up being a bit false here at the moment. We'll have to wait and see what happens over the next 30 seconds to see if it was false or not. But I certainly don't want to grind down my profits on the day in my paper account. And I'm already starting to do that. 3.6 to 4.0. Looking like it's a false red to yellow. Glad I did not take it in the evaluation. Coming up right up here at the top of the hour. 2 seconds to 9. There we go. 9 o'clock. 4.0 to 4.2 on the red side. On the TTM1. I'm going to jump over to the 5-minute chart and see what's happening with the TTM here. So this breakout failed. So I don't think that we're moving up past that point. I think that we may continue failing. The price, that is, not me. As such, I'm just going to put this up at 75. See if we get an opportunity to get out at 75. I'm going to check in on the 3-minute chart. 3-minute has cooling on the TTM pretty heavily, actually. 7.4 to 6.6 to 5.5 to 3.9 to 2.2. This is looking more like a continued downward move. Boom, 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 boom. $4.3 to 4.4. I would say there's still potential for another move back up. because we are leveling yet again on the TTM. But with this big move that went to the downside off of 75, I'm less inclined to believe in it. $4.3 to 4.4 to now yellow at 4.3. For this yellow move here, though, I'd want to see this break above 75 or rip to 75. If we essentially can rip that far off of from 71, then I'll consider taking more trades in the evaluation. We're up here at 902, coming up on 903. 903 has significance just because a lot of the time the moves will happen at 903, whatever is stacking for 9 o'clock. I think a lot of people were likely anticipating that 5200 cross because they know it is I know it's a moving average crossover that institutional traders use. I actually learned that from an institutional trader. And it's been really a pretty solid move. But taking it in anticipation has always been really challenging. And definitely not as useful as one might hope. 4.3 to 4.6 to 4.8 on the TTM red side. We're pulling back to the lower band of the VWAP. All the way down to 69. I just noticed that the volume's kind of slowed slightly. Another possible red yellow. We're going to need like 3 yellows in a row, though. 4.7 to 4.6. Not only are we going to need like 3 yellows in a row, but we're going to need them to move at like a factor of like 0.3 or 0.4 to really start to see some upswing. Ten seconds left in this candle. I want to see this one at least end yellow. So it did end yellow. Not by much. But that gives us higher probability of the next candle ending yellow. The reason why I care about these ending yellow is because that will indicate a potential trend reversal, which gives us more opportunity to play things to the upside. But we are pushing down even further. Down to 40.69 on the lower band of the VWAP. $4.70 to 4.64 to 4.7 area. We are getting some like very micro bounces off of the lower band. Riding along 4.6 on the TTM on the one. Switching from red to yellow. I want this one to end as yellow as well because 3 yellow candles in a row is going to give us a lot more potentiality for further upward move. We do have quite a few Mario candles on it too. You can see Mario put his mark here. We got Mario's mark there. Mario mark here. Even though that one's a doji, it still has a Mario shape to it. You can tell Mario put his print there. I just hope it doesn't go down the tube. Pun intended. Just kind of flat sideways along the lower band of the VWAP here for a while, like a really long time. This is the boring part of trading, the part where you're just watching the chart all day and seemingly waiting for something to happen. I can tell you I definitely regret this trade here. I probably should have just taken my loss early on. The reason why I held it really had to do with this move back here. And so I think I definitely could have traded this a lot better. We're below the lower band of the VWAP. Honestly, I should have looked at that as at 75 being a resistance zone and just shorted off of it. $4.7 to 4.8 to 4.9, back to 4.7. Really sideways. It's finding a lot of support here in the lower band, but it makes sense because it is at the lower band. But if you look at the volume, it's like 1,500, 1,700, 1,800, 1,500. So it's pretty low volume. 4.9 to 4.6. Finally getting some reasonable momentum changes there. I'm going to need to see this get above 70. Probably above 72. $4.9 now to 4.3. Move to 4.4 now. We'll see what it closes at. There's the close. So we went from 4.9 to 4.48. So moving about 0.4 to the upside. Now moving to 4.1. And we're down here at 68.75. 68 and a quarter now on the lower band of the VWAP. 4.48 to 4.24. Movement of volume about 0.24, 2.5, something like that. I think we need to get to like 3.9 on this current candle, really. which ends in 15 seconds. We're up at 40.69 now. And we're at 4.15 on the TTM. 5 seconds left in this candle. So we went from 4.48 to 4.15 to now 3.9, 4.0 area. This one also continuing to pull back to 40.67. Do we have a low on the day? What's the low on the day? Low on the day is all the way down to 4,007. The high is up at 40.91. But this was at 4 a.m. yesterday, so this is not even real. I can tell you that I definitely should have cut this trade and taken this loss early on. So that's bad trading on my part. This was actually, this is what I was also looking at as well. This is what I was kind of referencing is I think that we could see a really big upward move off of this low area here. Is that trend line that's been running along there is the lower band of the VWAP. But I definitely should have not taken this trade. I honestly should have shorted off 75. I just thought that this breakout was 20 minutes ago. And even when it does break out, I'm not going to make very much profit on it if it does break out. So, and that's kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. I'm going to just take one contract here. No, not going to let me do that. 3.9 to 3.7 on the TTM, now 3.6. This is looking closer and closer to an upward move to me. It's not solid enough for me to take it in the evaluation yet, even though I'd like to. 3.6 to 3.4. Now 3.6 to 3.6. It's definitely just riding just way too long here. For me, it's like it's the patience, man. That's the part that sometimes gets me in trading. It's just like staying on like patient all day, watching the chart, waiting for it to like do what it's supposed to do, or do what you're waiting for it to do, rather, not what it's supposed to do, but what you're waiting for it to do. You can see that GTM is stacking towards the upside, but we have more red candles inbound. There was a lot of sell orders right there. It's grinded so far down. It's pretty crazy, honestly. We'll see. J-Pal speaks in about 2 hours. What do you guys think? Do you guys think they're going to raise the rates again? Or do you think they're going to keep them the same? Or do you think they are going to reduce them? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Will the Fed raise the interest rate or lower the interest rate or keep it the same? $3.7 to $3.7 to $3.7. GTM ain't going nowhere. $3.7 now to $3.5. Going up a 918 here. Say lose the 3-minute side things. 3 minutes still been stacking to the downside. We're below the lower band of the VWAP here, which usually a lot of times can end up with like a snap or the up. But the TTM is telling us a different story, and we're going to keep grinding downward. I feel like I should just cut this. I mean, we already lost like a crap load on it. Especially because we were up as much as we're down now, so. $1.1 to 1.7 on the GTM5. So this definitely was a short off of VWAP situation, like we talked about. You have a double bottom here, right along that line. I'm just gonna move this line up. Be a little more in line with that. Let's put this right at 65. Kind of crazy how much we just started grinding. What up, Randy? Good to see you. You think they'll raise the rate? I think they'll raise the rate too. I'm kind of in the boat that they'll probably raise them another quarter of a point. At least that's my thinking. Which means if they brought them up to 4.5, it means they're going to bring them up to like 4.75. It's kind of what I think. But typically, as has been tradition for the last few months, right before J-Pal talks, the market goes crazy to the upside. As has been the J-Pal tradition. Rolling all the way back to 63s, man. Getting a nice pop up on that one from 3.5 to 3.0 on the TTM yellow on the 1 minute side. We are still below the lower band of the VWAP, but that doesn't normally last. Not very long anyway. 2.9 to 2.5 on the TTM. At 40.67 now. See 2.9, 2.45. 20 seconds left in this candle. We have a possible crossover the 1226 inbound. Probably going to want to wait for that 9 to get above the 12 in order to really have that solid move that you're looking for toward that upside. We may be looking at 930 as the area of movement. 2.9 to 2.2 to 1.6 on the TTM1 side. Gonna jump to the evaluation, and I don't want that trade. I'm gonna look for an opportunity here. So this will move up towards 69 area. Tried to join the bid there. I missed the entry. I was gonna try to get it off 67, but it just moved too fast when it dropped down there. We got a doji on the top of this.
Order
Join the
filled.
bid off 68. I'm looking for a move up to 69. And honestly, I think we have room up to 69.50.
Order
There we
filled.
go. That was 4 contracts in our 50K account. So that's nice because that puts us up 272 on the 50K account. It also puts our trailing max up at 581 out of 2,000. So we got to get that back up to 2,000. But we've been working on it last couple of days. Basically, we really got our butt kicked on last Friday in the 50K account. And so we have to work a nice job this week of working our way back up. But we definitely just want to take it easy, take it slow. We're up 214 in our 100K. We're up 272 in our 50K. These are the ones that matter. These are the ones that I'm really focused on. So this is looking like a nice breakout move now. We're getting a cyan switch, 1.6 to 0.7 to the switch on the cyan is just like 0.1. So it's pretty minimal on the cyan side of things at the moment. We do have a possible crossover to the 1226. That's a really solid move a lot of the time. 9 is now getting above the 12, confirming that move to the upside. That 9 above the 12 is so important to actually give you that confirmation of that upward move, especially of the upward continued movement, so that you know that you're not running into a false break. That's a really useful indication right there. That 9 getting above that 12. Now we're pulling back to the EMA 35. The 35 acts a lot as resistance and support. A lot of the time when you're in bullish form, the EMA can act as a really strong support zone to take really nice smooth bounces off of. And when you're in bearish form, the EMA 35 can act as resistance, usually pretty strong resistance, but resistance that we typically end up popping through. 9 is above the 12. We're approaching a 1226 crossover on the current candle. A lot of sell-off. You can see the sellers showing up there on the bulls bears. It's about 80 or 90% sell orders on this current candle. We have 10 seconds left in the candle. Sellers overtaking the buys, leading to a potential false breakout. 0.2 to 0.5 to 0.7. This candle opened lower than the previous candle. Not a good sign in order to actually get this breakout. We may still get it, but we're going to have to wait another full minute because of that. So 9 is above the 12. That's a good thing. That's what we want in order to get that confirmation of the upside. We've also got the TTM showing us confirmation of the upside. Now we just need to get that crossover, which will have that information in about 15 seconds. The crossover being this cyan moving average crossing above this white moving average. That's the 12 EMA crossing above the 26 SMA. There's that move back up to the EMA 35. That was a bounce off of 67, moving up to 69, which is right where the EMA 35 is. You can see acting as resistance, like we mentioned, but I don't think it's going to act as resistance for very long. 9 is above the 12. We're getting a 1226 crossover. 0.5 to 1.1 to 1.5 now on the TTM. On the one side, TTM 1 minute, that is. And we're approaching 9:30. I'm going to jump to the 3-minute chart. And we do have a yellow candle on the current 3-minute. And so that's going from 7.5 to 7.2, 7.3 or so on the TTM3. Waiting for 9:30. 9:30 going to give us that confirmation that we're looking for potentially. Checking in on the 5-minute chart. Just going from 2.1 to 2.4 on the red side on TTM. Back on the 1, waiting for the EMA 35 breakout. We're going to want to see this 26 and 12, this white line and the cyan line, continue to move away from each other. Pretty imperative in order for this move to continue. We want to see this 26 and this 12 move away from each other. The more distance, the better for an upward trend reversal. 1.4 to 1.7 on TTM. 20 seconds till 9:30. Sometimes 9:30 comes with a big sell-off, as it does indicate lunchtime on the East Coast a lot of the time. 1.4 to 1.6. Eine Sekunde. All right, we're coming up testing that EMA 35. 1.6 now to 2.2. Looking more solid on the TTM. I'm going to jump to the eval side. And I'm trying to take an entry here off of 69 and a quarter. Enter two contracts in the 100K. Looking for a move up to 70 and a half. I'm going to take that profit.
Order filled.
Made one tick on that, unfortunately. But money's money. Come on, game. So we're up 229 in the 100K. So that means that we actually are profitable above our yesterday move. Yesterday we lost about that much. And we're at 772 out of 2,000. It's looking pretty decent for a move towards that upside. Economy still hasn't slowed enough. So yeah, they'll at least raise it another quarter. You know, I actually agree with that, Randy. I don't think that the economy has slowed down enough. I think that the economy really needs to kind of come to a grinding halt. Honestly, um, I've been calling for it for like 2 years. Oakley dokie optimist. I'm gonna sign off. All right, no worries, Tiny. Yeah, I honestly think that the economy really needs to like continue slowing. Um, and frankly, I think people need to learn to see that as a good thing because when the economy slows, inflation slows, and things like housing and stuff like that can become more affordable. So it does give a lot of opportunity. Plus, just something for y'all to note, we are crashing down here a bit. That's not what what to note. But for something for you guys to note as well is that there are more millionaires made in recessions than there are in bull runs. It's just something to think about. I know I started my first business at the very beginning of the 2008 financial crisis, and that was one of my most profitable years that I had ever had in my life. So I don't think we should be scared of recessions. I think that I've always honestly found it to be kind of fascinating how much governments do get scared of recessions, but I understand it slows down GDP, but but at the same time, like if you just let it deleverage, like if you just let deleveraging happen and don't really interfere all that much, a lot of times you end up with better outcomes. Almost every time that we end up with government intervention, a lot of times we end up with a worse outcome. And that's not to say that that would have been the case with 2008 or even with the current thing, but I do think so with the current 2008. I think that the government didn't intervene soon enough a lot of the time, you know, when it came to the housing bubble and things like that. But honestly, that created one of the biggest bull runs in history after the fact. So 2.2, let's see, sorry, 3.2. Visual impairment's getting me on the brain injury. 1 second. 2.2 to 2.3 on the TTM1. We're going to need to see this continue upward past the EMA 35, which acted as too strong a resistance here. It hit it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. The EMA 35 acted as too strong a resistance for this to break out off of. That doesn't mean it's going to continue that way. If I check the 3-minute side, we're still stacking towards the upside on the TTM. Let's see how much though. 7.5 to 7.4 to 7.1. Or I should say 7.2 is closer. So we're starting to get some accumulation. We're probably going to need to see a red to yellow on the 5-minute chart though for this to really move. Right now we're going 3.3 to 4.2 on our current. This is a brand new 5-minute candle. So we may see even continued downward move. I'm going to cut this Darwinian trade here. Just take my loss. It's going to be easier to have more opportunity to come back. I'm just going to put this at like 2 ticks. All right, made back 100 and something. About $100. I'm just gonna scout my way back, and I'm tired of holding on to. I held on to that trade for way too long, and honestly, I should have just cut it right off the bat. That's why I called it a Darwinian trade. At least during that time frame, though, we were trading just fine in our evaluation, because that's really what matters. Is earning funding through the evaluation. The paper trading doesn't matter as much. It's there for practice. It's there for interpretation. By the way, if y'all chilling, y'all hanging out, make sure you like and subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications. And also, if you're looking to earn funding in the futures market, be sure you check out Elite Trader Funding. These guys are awesome and allow you to earn funding as low as $10K and as high as $300,000. I personally really like these guys because for a lot of different reasons. Number one, they have a Discord community. Super important, in my opinion, because this gives you the ability to learn from other traders, not just their company. This allows you to communicate with other people and get answers to your questions. On top of that, they do allow you to use multiple different softwares. Anything that connects to Rhythmic, TradingView, and Tradevate. And for a lot of the softwares, they provide the license key. So you actually do get access to different softwares that you can choose to trade with, whatever fits your style. So I think that's really important. That way you're not using like really old software or software that's inefficient for how you like to trade. So that's really important. And just a excuse me, just a cavalcade of other reasons I really like these guys. Their customer service gets back to me almost immediately. And personally, I think they have some of the most competitive pricing and plans in the industry. Their website is coherent. It's easy to understand. You can just click see more details if you want to know more about any of the plan types. The FAQ is easy to navigate. The knowledge base is easy to navigate and easy to find what you're looking for. The write-ups are really precise, which I really like because I don't find that in a lot of places. Some places I find the websites are really messy and kind of challenging to read because of how messy they are. So check these guys out. Use the link in the description and the promo code JSBEST if you'd like to actually lock in a lifetime discount on your account. Personally, I'm working on the 50K evaluation, which has a profit target of $3,000. It allows me 8 contracts in the mini with a $2,000 trailing max drawdown. I'm also working on the 100K static evaluation, which has a $2,000 profit target and a max drawdown of 625. Allows me 2 contracts in the mini for 20 micros. And again, you can use that promo code to lock in a lifetime discount and get that deal for life on there. So check them out. Use the link in the description for that. Let's go ahead and jump back into the charts and see what is going on with this world today. We're approaching 940 and we're getting continued downward move. We're down 700 in the paper side, basically because we took that Darwinian trade, and it kept holding it. We're up 229 on the 100K, and we're up like 272 in the 50K. Yep, 272. There's a nice little pop there off of 67, popping up to 68. Getting kind of sideways and choppy here. Gonna take a look at TOS side, the paper side. So this was a nice little move in here where it chopped out, resisted the 35. We did just spike up off the lower band of the VWAP up to the EMA 35. And this is getting a little choppy in this area. You see the volume really dropped out. You see 965, 972, 1148, 1500 something, 1300. So basically all the volume just left the market, which makes sense. It's lunchtime on the East Coast. Having said all that, we'll probably just take the loss in the paper. Our max of the day, we were actually up 1,250. But we, like I said, we took a really Darwinian trade that we ended up holding onto. Call it Darwinian because it just was one of those things where it's like I held it way too long, held up past my risk level, all those types of things. All that stuff will just kill your account. Gratefully, I was able to maintain the correct mindset for my evaluations, which is what truly matters. So I'm happy about that. Having said all that, I'm going to go ahead and post my results as well as my thoughts and my reflection on my trading on the day inside of our Discord community. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Before I go, I would appreciate it if you guys like and subscribe and ring that bell for notifications because it does really help this community grow a lot. Helps our channel grow, helps our members inside of our Discord community grow because it exposes us to more users, more audience. That means more experiences coming in. I learn from you guys as much as you guys learn from me, and I wholeheartedly believe in the idea of a community coming together and helping each other learn how to get better and better at trading, as well as entrepreneurship and personal philosophy and just overall joy and happiness. There's no point in doing all this trading stuff if we're not doing it for something that actually makes us happier, if it does provide some sort of fulfillment in our life. And that I wholeheartedly believe that. We are getting a pop-up here. You see 9 is now above 12. This is actually, I might stick around for another second. Because 9 is above 12. We're getting above the EMA 35. Join the bid here. I'm going to buy market. Got in off 69. And I'm looking for a move off 69.50. Which is the upper wick of this candle. The very top of the candle. Nine is now above 12. Remember that this is happening on low volume, so anything can happen. But yeah, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. But again, before I go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. It really does help the channel grow, helps the whole community, helps all of us. And I'm going to drop this down to a single tick and see if we can get that profit out. Right now, we're at break even. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down and write our stuff in the Discord community. Peace out, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 market time. Peace.